Story broke on Times Now at about 5 o'clock. Initially, it seemed to be some kind of a denial, and then later, the Home Ministry realized the facts were out in the public domain. And here's the story. It's the third case in the Ministry of Home Affairs in the last 13 months. Two officers earlier, O. Ravi and Ravinder Singh, were arrested by the CBI on charges of corruption. Now, this incident happened around this gentleman. His name is Sada Kant. He was shunted out, literally thrown out, bag and baggage from the Home Ministry on Friday morning. The action was issued within about a few hours of the summons late on Thursday. The Ministry of Home Affairs is very, very embarrassed about this third case of alleged graft. The charge against this person is that he took some kind of a quid pro quo with private companies for personal benefit for the construction of his own house. A more worrying part of it is, though the government says he's not a mole because there was no sensitive information traded, this gentleman was in the know of a lot of sensitive information. So unless we know what was traded, we can't really take anyone at face value. On the show tonight, I have former Cabinet Secretary Zafar Saifullah. Thank you very much for coming in. ML Kumawat, former Director General of the BSF. Thank you. A.S. Dulat, former Raw Chief. So we have top officials of the police as well as of the bureaucracy and of the intelligence apparatus with us. Zafar Saifullah, this is the third particular case in the Ministry of Home Affairs in 13 months. Is the bureaucracy becoming too vulnerable to corruption?
Well, I wouldn't draw conclusions from this single incident, but coming as it does in the wake of the earlier two incidents, I think it is something about which we should take due cognizance, and we should not be light-hearted about it. But I think it does point to a serious. I think it does point to some serious lashes in the ministry, and I'm sure that the present setup in the ministry will be alive to it, and will be doing their best to get down to the bottom of it.
The good thing is that they acted, but the fact is this action enough, Mr. Dulat? You know, a person who is willing to hand over sensitive information for, a little help in the construction of his house, who's willing to part with files in such a sensitive post, is a transfer enough, Mr. Dulat? And does this point out to some inadequacies in the system?
You know, like Mr. Saifullah very rightly said, that I don't think we should jump to conclusions. There are just been a couple of cases, and unfortunately, I think it's just bad luck that it's happening in the Home Ministry. That is not to say that these guys are moles or whatever. There's, Arnav, what is happening is there's so much money floating around everywhere that I think some youngsters are falling into this trap. But it's not necessary that they are dishing out sensitive information of the type that you're suggesting. In any case, I would not refer to them as moles, because moles have a totally different connotation. And if you talk about moles, then there are moles in every country and all over the world.
So, but that is with all respect, the fact is he's not a young officer. He's 53 years old. He's a joint secretary level officer. He's in charge of Board of Roads. He's been with internal security in the past. How do we know what he's given out and how sensitive it is? And once you give a file, say to a private company, in exchange for a bribe, where do you know where the file will land up eventually?
Yeah, fair enough. I suppose if there is an inquiry, one will get to know. But in the case of border roads, I can't anticipate, or I can't think of too much damage being done to security or to government. This is purely a contractual business, and I think it's a question of the lowest tender or whatever it is, and obliging somebody by letting out a few secrets.
How can we? So where else in the world would we be so forgiving? I mean, in China, why would we be so forgiving?
I am not, Arnab, don't get me wrong. I'm not at all suggesting that we should be forgiving. If somebody has done something wrong, he has to pay for it.
No, sir.
But again, I come back to the fact that, you use the word mole. I don't think these are moles. Sir, we are talking really of corruption here,
So let's not use the word mole. But the fact is that how would a person who, after at least about 27 years of service, trades in information. Now, and he's not a young officer, he's trading in information. How can that person be allowed to go into another job in his parent cadre? Because the Home Ministry has said, let the UP government decide what to do with him. Why should he serve the government of India anymore? I want to go to Mr. Kumawat very quickly. I had lost the line with him. Mr. Kumawat, what do you think of this case?
What I have seen on your television, in case it is true, I am really sad and shocked that a person who is holding very crucial position has indulged in corruption. In fact, it is a very sensitive position that he was holding in the government of India, especially in Home Ministry, dealing with border management.
But why do you think these instances are coming up again and again? Yeah, go on.
I think, there are several reasons for that, but main reasons I may say that one is there is no deterrence, there is no punishment, swift punishment has to be given, then I think people will think twice about doing all these things. And the second thing, I think before we induct people into such sensitive positions, there should be good verification about their antecedents and their way of life, how actually they lead their life. All these things must be looked into before they are inducted into sensitive ministry like Home Ministry.
My problem here, Mr. Saifullah, is that, there are a lot of people who feel all of this is being treated very lightly. You have other officials in the 2G scam who dealt with a bigger scam, larger amounts of money in a more institutionalized way. But why should we not take the case of an individual act of corruption, even if it is one file, even if he got 1 rupee for it? Why should we not treat it with the same ferocity? And where do we draw a line between who's a mole and who's not? I don't quite understand that. Are you culpable only if you've given Pakistan the file and not a private contractor?
Well, I think the size of the bribe, the amount of the bribe, is no indication of how deep the sin is. Instances of corruption have to be taken seriously, and I think they should be dealt with in as careful a manner as possible, and not make a real distinction between one or the other, depending on the size of the amount of the corruption, the amount of the bribe that is involved. I completely agree with you, Mr. Goswami.
If that's the case, I want to go back to Mr. Dulat. Mr. Dulat, you have been the chief of the RAW, and I'm sure you know how these things work, and you in your own time have tried to suggest ways to the government on how to stop it. My question is today, had this same man, Sadakat, given that file, say, to Pakistan, he would have been taken to judicial or police custody. But because he's given that file to a private contractor, as we are told, he is simply being repatriated to his state cadre. Why should he be repatriated? Why should this serving joint secretary not be taken into judicial or police custody on account of leaking sensitive information?
Yeah, you're right in a way, Arnab, but it's very difficult to pass judgment on somebody one doesn't know the facts about. And I agree with you. If the man is guilty, then if his crime is such, then possibly he needs to go to jail, like his other colleague from, I think, the Punjab cadre, who is still languishing in jail.
But then,
the question is that unless one knows all the details, it's not possible to say. In any case, I don't think even if he goes back to UP that he's going to go scot-free. The action, I'm sure, will be taken against him.
but why? It would be part of a lengthy judicial process, and the person would carry on. I mean, I don't want to take names, but we've had other cases of people who have been, hoping to get the top positions in this country, who say that, our case is in the courts. Our case is being looked at for the last 15 to 16 years. If you don't take immediate information, Mr. Kumawat, what's the point? If you don't take immediate action.
I think this is standard drill. Whenever an officer is caught, or I think there are some allegations, he is sent back to his cadre, and action is taken against him by the investigating agencies. So I think we should not be perturbed in case he has been only sent, repatriated to his cadre. action in case the allegations are true, as you have reported. I think action will be taken. That's the standard drill. I think all the time people are first sent back to their cadre and then action is taken.
Okay. Well, I mean, some action has been taken. There's been quick action of asking him to leave. Yes, Mr. Saifullah, I think you wanted to add something.
Yeah, I just wanted to say this, that before we decide whether the action of transferring the person from one post to another or from one cadre to another is correct, inadequate, or needs to be further strengthened, we should know the full facts of the case. So I would not be in a position to comment on the adequacy of the steps that have been taken, but I do think that if there is sufficient justification for coming to the conclusion that the man is terribly at fault, then maybe transfer by itself is not sufficient, and it has to be followed up with positive action to ensure that such things don't recur.
Well, the charge
action should be really deterrent action.
Yeah,
it should be deterrent action. It should not be something that people feel that, well, it's let's do what we have to do, and it may be another 2 or 3 years, after which we'll enjoy the fruits of what we've done, and that's that.
Absolutely.
That, I think, really is the kind of situation which we are gradually moving to, and it's very unfortunate. I don't think that's the kind of country which we knew about 20 years ago.
Absolutely. Well, eventually it becomes a question of personal ethics as well. We'll follow the story. But Mr. Saifullah, Mr. Dulat and Mr. Komawat, for your perspective tonight, thank you very much for joining me on the News Hour. Look forward to seeing you soon once again.